Everyone, welcome to our Commissioner Status Update. It is February 14th, 2023. The time is 10 a.m. I'm calling this meeting to order. In attendance are Commissioners Brooks, Matari, and Duncan. Are there any changes to the agenda? Okay, hearing none. Item 1 is the GTN Express Pipeline Project. We've kind of been asked by a local senator here to provide a letter of support for that. So were both of you able to read the letter of support?
I looked at the letter and I also spoke with someone down in the Capitol building about that. And basically what it is the states to the east and west of us are not very supportive of fossil fuels. This pipeline is already in the ground and it's basically just showing support for expanding this project. I think it was expanding the capacity for the existing pipeline.
Okay. So, question?
Good summation. No, I
Okay. All right, so
agree.
as a board, will we support this or?
I would.
Yeah, I would. Yeah.
Perfect. So there'll be direction. We'll circulate a letter today for signature. All right, item 2, Kootenai Health Consent to Conversion. We have a contract before us for our transportation services agreement. And in the process of Kootenai Health changing from a hospital district to a 501c3, they have to get all their 4,000 contracts signed by their partners. So we are a partner in this one particular one. So I wanted Commissioner thoughts on, are we going to agree to the new contract? Are we going to have a statement? I, for one, was not particularly fond of the way they handled it. It was really behind the scenes and not open to the public with public input. So I don't know. I'd be happy to look further and to see if the Board of Commissioners denied this conversion, what that would mean for county services and to make sure there wasn't a negative impact to our taxpayers, but.
We wouldn't actually deny the conversion.
No,
It would
just
we
the
would
control.
deny signing the contract.
Correct. Yes, thank you for
Yeah.
clarifying that, yes. So,
Well, I agree. I think that the way that it has been handled by the hospital lacked a lot of transparency. It came across as something that had to be done extremely fast, when in reality, it should be done slowly
That's
and
right.
with thought, and certainly public
Exactly.
input, because it's a public hospital.
well,
Exactly.
the issue I really had was, we're gonna do this, but we don't know what the ramifications are. We can't answer your questions, but we're gonna do it anyway. I mean, federal government much, let's just pass the bill, then we'll find out what's in it. I mean, that's really, really frustrating.
We've had
So,
enough of that.
Yeah, so, all right, well, what I will do is I will contact some stakeholders and make sure that if Kootenai County decides not to sign this new contract, what the ramifications are going to be. So that's all right. Okay. And grant process. Bruce.
Well, I was excited to see that we have a department within the county to aid in the process of acquiring grants. I see the grant process as something that should be helping to defray homeowner tax burden, if possible. That if we're going to seek grant money, it should be so that we don't have to look to the homeowner, especially to help pay for county services in exchange. So as I've been investigating the department and how it works within the processes, I wanted to just kind of propose to the board for some direction. You can pass that down to Commissioner Brooks. Here's yours, is a mission statement for the RMO. And that mission statement would be a supporting role within the county. And that the department heads or the elected officials, and you'll see the second page, there's a chart where the department head or the elected official deals with the BOCC, and legal, auditing, and RMO act as advisory and support roles. to the board or to and then what would happen is, and this is just a proposal here, is that for every grant application, did you get a document like this here?
The third one.
The third one, underneath.
Yes.
There we go.
Okay.
So when the board sees a grant, we can tell whether or not it's been reviewed by each of these entities. If there's check marks, of course, we could say everything is good. If there is an X for some reason, there should be notes accompanying it as to why. And that way, we have a team of people in different areas who are reviewing these grants to make sure that before we say yes, that we can have confidence that we're operating in a compliant fashion. And then the only other component for RMO that I could see that would really be helpful is to do an audit, on occasion, a periodic audit of a grant in a department. Because what I've come to find is that usually if somebody dots their I's and crosses their T's on one grant, it's a high likelihood they've done it on all the others. And it's just a way to, again, ensure that we're being compliant and that we don't find ourselves in a situation, especially with some of these larger grants, that we're out of compliance and then we have to give the money back. But in the end, the idea is that these three entities here, RMO, auditing, and legal, provide advice to the department head. And if the department head chooses to not follow that advice, we would have a feedback mechanism through one of these groups to just understand this department head opted not to, and we can ask that person, well, why didn't you? And they may have a good reason, or they may not. But at least this way, we're not getting into the world of trying to control people as much as opposed to just getting good information so good decisions can be made. And so that was the proposal in a sense. And what I'm hoping for is that if the board says yes to a mission statement like this and to delineating the roles within the different groups like that chart says, where each of those play a support function, then we can kind of put that into a policy as guidelines for how these different entities operate and hopefully work together.
Have you talked to RMO about it?
Yes, I have.
How do they feel about it?
They had a slightly different take on it, but I do have a proposal that was sent to me from RMO, and what I've done here is just kind of highlight just some of the phraseology in here. You don't have to read the whole thing now, but they kind of get into a little bit between control and assist. And what my hope is that we can focus more on assist and less on control. Ultimately, the sponsor, or in this case, the department head or the elected official, is responsible for the compliance.
You want this back?
Not unless you want to take a look at it. So,
Thank you.
but it really is just a way to keep things simple. I like simplicity. It tends to work better, at least in my experiences, versus bogging things down with lots of words and pages and so forth. But that's really the idea, is just to kind of clarify that and make the primary client of RMO the county. I think right now RMO focuses heavily on ARPA, which I know we need assistance with, and then transportation items. And I think there's a lot of money to be had out there from grants for different departments. Obviously, we've had a number of grants come before us already in my short, tiny tenure so far. And so anything that we can do to mitigate tax burden, I think is a prudent approach.
Okay. I support that. Anytime we can make things flow a little bit smoother, simplify things, take some burden off of departments, then I like that. I support that.
And the idea is that each of these entities, RMO, legal, and auditing, would have a reasonable amount of time to look at the grant and reply back. If they don't reply back within that amount of time, that would be notated on the document here. We would have that, so we could quickly tell.
We already have a condensed contract paper. Can we just add that so it can be a contract slash grant paper?
Yeah, absolutely. This was just an idea, just so that we can quickly, sometimes, what was it, last week, we had, 600 pages to go through? It just seems like,
Not unusual.
yeah, it just seems like anything we can do to convey information quickly and easily, so we know that something has been reviewed, I think helps the process.
You need to, if you're gonna.
Sorry, there was talk about doing that through OnBase, just so you know.
Yes.
So there's some wiggle room.
Well, and the contract cover sheet is through OnBase.
Right.
And so.
So we had talked about tweaking some things so that you
Yes.
guys would have access to it as soon as it, went through. So anyway.
Okay, thank you. All right, so we kind of have direction, and we'll let Bruce kind of take the point on this and
Okay.
come up with a policy, and we can work that into the cover sheet, and I can show you the cover sheet.
Okay, and then I guess, and again, just because this is so new to me that, I would present to the board a final version for us to say, that's it, we're moving forward.
Yeah.
But at this point, I can speak for the board and helping work with the other entities, so.
Yeah, so once you have a policy, then you
Yeah.
can bring it before us, then it'll be run through legal and
Yeah.
put on a business meeting.
Okay, all right, well, thank you all.
All right. I guess, Jolene, anything else? Brandy? Okay, well, public comment. Anybody on the phone? Nope. All right, 10:12, meeting adjourned. Thank you.